Hey, I'm Dena Burton. I'm still Dena Burton, not Dena Burton still. And I'm super excited. This week we have Chris Voss with us. We're going to be talking about the secrets of negotiation. Do you know anything about anything else?
Only the stuff that you tell me.
Okay, and then everything I've told Chris to say. It's going to be awesome. So you come here and you write your big book?
Never split the difference. Yes.
Okay.
We had actually just delivered the book to the publisher just a couple of months before I came.
Okay.
So we were in the final phases of the rest of the execution of it, which was getting through all the edits, making sure that it cleared the FBI and they didn't have any problems with it. You know, there were a couple of tiny little minor tweaks there, mostly that anybody whose name had not already been affiliated, FBI agents whose names were not already out publicly in certain incidences, had to have their written permission to put their name in.
Okay. What I hear people say to you not most often, but like, why do I need negotiation? I'm not in sales, or I'm not, like, what do I need that for? I don't know that most people understand that you are negotiating from the time you walk down the hall past your toddler to the time you get to work, to like, it's all day long every day. Am I correct in that?
If you want to hear the word yes, you're in a negotiation.
Okay.
If the words I want are in your head, you're in a negotiation. The most dangerous negotiation is one you don't know you're in. That cuts both ways. If the other side realizes it's a negotiation before you do, they've got the advantage.
Also true with toddlers.
Also true with toddlers. Teenagers, significant others, bosses.
And I've read your book.
You know what happens when I read it? My lips get tired. Boom, boom.
And I was really impressed about a lot of things, and it does influence my work. And now everyone's going to say that to me because I never give you that, but it does. But looking for no is a big mind shift for people. Can you talk a little bit about how that is part of it and why that's important?
Yeah, well, first problem is everybody's addicted to yes. And so being desperate for yes, you're almost taken hostage by it. You're horrified by no. It scares the heck out of you. And I think, first of all, no longer being horrified by no, to start with, is the critical point when people start to up their game. When you're no longer scared of hearing the word no, massive difference in how effective you could be. How you stop taking yourself hostage. Your listening increases.
How do we take ourselves hostage?
By being scared of no and desperate for yes.
Okay, so you just shut down and...
Right. They might say no, I can't ask.
Okay.
People leave so much money on the table by defeating themselves before they ever get to the table. Like, we can't ask for this. They'll say no.
Okay.
You know, there's plenty of reasons to let them say no. You know, there's plenty of reasons to go ahead and bring something up that they're going to shoot down. I mean, you trigger reciprocity debt. We got to the point where we'd ask for stuff we knew that they were going to say no to, because later on it put us in a position to say, well, look, I asked you for this, this, and this. You didn't give me any of that other stuff. What about this? This is the least you could do. I mean, so that's the first turning point. And then we started to turn the corner a little bit more because I came across the book Start With No, written by a guy who became a friend, and we still collaborate with his son. Jim Camp wrote the book, came out in about 2002, collaborated with Jim, and Jim has since passed on, but it was a revolutionary idea that was right in front of everybody. And it was, as soon as you let people know it's okay to say no, they're more likely to say yes. The entire premise of that book was, right off the bat, say, you know, it's okay to say no. You can say no to this at any time. Camp used to call it, give the other person the right to veto, give it back to them. They're more likely to agree if they no longer feel pressured, if they no longer feel that the only word you want to hear out of them is yes.
So when the guy calls and says to me, do you have carpets in your home? And I say yes. Have they been cleaned? Like when there's a guy on a phone doing sales and they're so driven to yes, I want to hang up. But to your point, if they say like something that's going to get me to go, no, or would you know, can I take 5 minutes of your time just to ask some questions? Like those things are like, they want me to say yes.
And you know it's going someplace.
Yeah.
Every single one of those is a trap. Nobody asks you that opening question unless 3 questions later they're going to want your money. Every time. It's called momentum selling. It's called the yes mode. called mere agreement. If it ever was an idea, if it ever was a good idea, and I might be able to make the case that it never was a good idea, but if it ever was, the problem is that everybody that hustled you, that's the way that they started.
So that's your sense memory of.
Yeah, you got a bad taste in your mouth from the person who led you down a primrose path and either ripped you off or cheated you or sold you something that you didn't like. And that happened to you enough times that now as soon as somebody starts it on you, the alarm bells go up and you start to push people away. And you become distracted. You start thinking, where's this going? What are they trying to do? Where's the hook? Where's the trap? And if you're distracted thinking that, then you're not listening. So they don't even have your attention. So there's just a billion and one things wrong with that.